What's happening? What's the business? It's your boy Landlord from Alabama, back with another video. And today, man, I just want to go over my top 5 wide receiver prospects in the 2022 draft for the Dallas Cowboys. This is not just the overall top 5 wide receivers. This is only retaining to the Dallas Cowboys. So now before I get started, I want to go over a few honorable mentions. And first, my guy out of Alabama, John Mechie. You know, he is injured. He is a probably day 2 guy. But, you know, I think he could be a great player to pick up if we chose to go in a different route in the first round and we still was in need of a wide receiver. John Mechie would be a great option. Jahan Dotson out of Penn State, I think he would be a great option. And the guy out of South Alabama, Jalen Talbert, I believe, I think he's a good option as well. As we talking about day 2, day 3 guys, if we just strike gold on the other positions that we need, maybe in guard or edge rusher, or maybe even, you know, at linebacker or D tackle or one of those other positions we just strike gold at, we can get some of these guys later on in the draft and probably still be sitting pretty walking in towards the season of the 2022 year, man. I think we could still be a decent team if we add a couple of those guys. Okay, let's crank up this list. And at my number 5 position would be the wide receiver out of USC, Drake London, standing at 6'4", 219 pounds. He's a big human highlight reel type guy, man. He's a walking highlight. He's snatching the ball from every kind of angle. He's all over the field, very Mouse-ish, a little bit. Don't kill me for that. Don't judge me for that. But he does make a lot of those spectacular one-handed grabs all over receivers. He's just a big dominant guy. He reeled in 88 catches, 1,084 yards, and 7 touchdowns, man. So he was very productive for USC, and I know that's a high-flying type conference over there, but he would be a great player for us to pick, but I don't think he fits the scheme, what we looking for as of now with the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, coming in at number 4 would be the Georgia wide receiver, George Pickens. And I know he's standing at 6'3", 189 pounds, and he suffered a big-time ACL injury, so he was gone for most of the year. But he did come back, and, you know, he made a big impact for Georgia. He was one of the reasons why they was able to win the championship. And they beat my Alabama team, and, you know, George Pickens made a huge play. He only had 1 catch, I believe, but he did make a huge play that helped decide the outcome of that game. In 2020, he had like 500 and some yards, like 6 touchdowns. So we know he could produce. He probably would have broke out last year if it wasn't for the injury, but he came up big down the stretch, so that's why he's my number 4 guy. Now let's talk about my number 3 guy, Treylon Burks, aka the baby Deebo Samuels, what everybody's saying. He's standing at 6'2", 225 pounds, man. He's a very solid guy. Coming out of Arkansas, man, he reeled in 66 catches, had over 1,000 yards receiving, and like 11 touchdowns. So he was very productive when it came to scoring and, you know, producing big time plays for Arkansas, man. I can't really even name you that quarterback. So if he was doing all that, he was doing pretty well, man. You know, he had a couple big catches on my Alabama team too. So, you know, Treylon Burks is one of the most versatile wide receivers they got in this draft. And he's one of my favorite picks for the Cowboys if he fall to us, man. He can come out the backfield. He can do reverses. He's basically just a weapon. That's exactly who Treylon Burks is. He's a weapon. Not a wide receiver, not a running back, a weapon. Similar to Deebo. He's not Deebo, especially not right now, but he can be a versatile weapon for you. Standing with a decent stature. He's not a skinny, small guy. He's going hard at 225, so you want to throw a lot of these quick West Coast type passes to Traylon and let him produce magic with the ball in his hand. So I love this pick for the Dallas Cowboys. We can throw him right in the slot and let him just cut up, act a fool, turn up. It'll soften the blow of us missing Amari Cooper in the year 2022. Now let's get into my number 2 guy, Chris Olave. Coming out of Ohio State, standing at 6'2", 189 pounds. It looked like they boosted up his weight because to me, he's looking like he's a little fragile, a little slimmer guy, but he is super duper fast. You cannot coach speed. That's one of the things that's like the biggest bright spot for him, man. This guy is a blazer. He's gonna take the top off the defense, and I would love for him to be in the middle of CD and Michael Gallup. He reeled in 65 catches for 936 yards, 13 touchdowns. And you know, that's pretty impressive when you take into account that he playing alongside Garrett Wilson over there on the other side of him. So he wasn't even the main guy, and he still had big time production coming out of Ohio State, man. So I believe he could be a great addition to this Dallas Cowboys wide receiving core. And you know, he's somebody that Kellen shouldn't have too much trouble trying to incorporate into his scheme, into his offense. So that's why he's number 2. It might be a couple players better than him on this list, but for the Dallas Cowboys, he is my number 2 guy, man, Chris Olave. So now, the grand finale, the number 1 receiver for the Dallas Cowboys in the 2022 draft. To me, Landlord from Alabama would be Jameson Williams. You know, I'm an Alabama kid. Call me a homer all you want. Standing at 6'2", 189 pounds, man, out of Bama. And you know, he acted a fool last year. He reeled in 79 catches with 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns, man. This guy went crazy. He was burning everybody left and right. And you know, Bama play a SEC schedule, so those are some of the top athletes. And standing across from Jameson, you couldn't tell. He was making them look like kids and children out there left and right. This guy was getting 5 to 10 yards of separation on a regular, making the extraordinary look routine. This was Jameson Williams, man. He was an incredible wide receiver for my Alabama team, man. And any team that can scoop him in the 20s or something like that, regardless of his injury, I know he's hurt. I know he's gonna take a few weeks or a few games to come back and be in full participant, but I do not care. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, if you can steal a guy like this, a top-notch talent, one of the guys that scorched the whole college football last year, man, this would be a big-time investment. This would be a big-time win for the Dallas Cowboys to snatch up Jameson Williams, man. He's a monster, he's a beast, and he's my number 1 guy for the Dallas Cowboys. You can put him on the outside, inside. You can just use him however you want. He's gonna torch any defense. That's just how he is, man. He got blazing speed, he got hands, and he got decent size for his skill set. He's an all-around type wide receiver, man. I would love to have him on this team, regardless of injury. We'll just have to tough it out till him and Michael Gallup get back, but in my opinion, I would put him on this team. If he's there at 24, draft Jameson Williams. I'm standing on the table, beating on the table, Mr. Stephen Jones. Get it done, bring him in, let him be the number 2 guy, because he would instantly probably be the number 2 producer on this team. And I'm saying that now. So that's my top 5 list, man, for the Cowboys. That's all I got for you today, man. Just holla at your boy, Landlord from Alabama, on all social media, man, with the same handle. And like I say, 1K, 1 love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.